Hello everybody. For the mesh menu assignment, I would like you guys to block out a character head. It shouldn't take you too long. Let me just show you maybe a technique that you could use. I'm going to go ahead and make a box. And this is a fun assignment, so don't worry about being too technical. I'm going to go ahead and go to the mesh menu, and we're going to start using some tools from here. So I'm going to go smooth, and let's turn the smooth up to 2. That looks nice. Okay. And if you want to shape the head a little bit, I'm going to show you some ways that you could do that. But let's go ahead and before we do that, we'll establish some different areas, like let's make some eyes. So we'll pull this little sphere out here. Like I said, this is a fun assignment, so don't get too caught up in making everything perfect or anything like that. We're just going to have fun with this. Alright, let's pull that up there. It's going to look like Grover or something from the Muppets. Alright, so I'm going to just leave that like that. So with using the mesh menu, we want to just build one side and not have to build the other side, so we can use the mirror. Or we're going to want to combine stuff. So let's just do a little something. So I'm going to go ahead and what else? Let's make a mouth shape. What would make a good mouth shape? I could say we could do something like this. It's probably going to look terrible, but for right now, let me just go like that. We'll use this for now, and then we can fill it in later. This is looking a lot like a fish all of a sudden. Which is fine. You could do like a fish. That would be fine. I have no problem with that. In fact, if we were going in that direction, I'm sort of free-forming at this point, meaning I don't have a super defined thing that I want to make yet, but if you're going to go with like a fish type of thing, you can go like this. You can, angle this up. You can make fins. So I'm going to Control D. Just bring this over here. You could use your deformers to deform the fins. You could use curves to make stuff. So I want you to use the kind of stuff that you've learned and just apply some of these new techniques to it. So let me go like this. Yeah, we'll make a fish. I think that's a good direction to go for right now. And let's see here. So that's interesting. I'm going to show you something here. You can go ahead and let's turn the grid off for now. I'm going to hit I'm going to right click and hold, and I get my selection up here. So I drag over to vertices. I'm going to select this vert, and I'm going to hit B on my keyboard. And what you'll notice is I've got this gradation that's happening. If I hold B on my keyboard and drag left and right, I get this circle, and you can see the gradation changes. Well, what this is for is soft select. So if I double click on my tool, oops, got the wrong bar there, there we go. Double click on my tool, let me get it so we can see it. I have the soft selection rollout down here, and you can see the soft selection's on, and if I turn it up, it gets bigger and bigger and lower, and there's a curve that's associated with it that is the fall off of the curve. That's right here. I'm not going to go totally into all of that, but I'm just going to show how to move stuff around. And so with this soft select on, I'm going to hold B, just make this a little bit bigger, and you can see I can just pull that out a little bit. You can go to your scale tool, you can scale that down, you can scale it this way, like that. And now we're getting more of a fish shape. Now I don't want everybody to make fish. I want you to be creative. I want you guys to try to have some fun. So right click, go to object mode to get out of that, or you can hit F8 twice. So for an eyeball, like I've got one, I can hit Control D, and I can scale another one up a little bit bigger. And if I turn it like so, and I go ahead and let's turn off soft select by hitting B. If I grab one end and all I did there was grab an edge loop. I actually want to grab the whole edge loop, so I'm just going to double click on an edge. And then I'm going to just hit delete. Okay, I'm not going to do it that way. Let me actually do it with faces. I'm going to go face. You got to hit Q so you can get that widget out of the way. So I'm holding shift. So what I'm going to do is hold shift, click once, and then keep holding shift and double click. And what it does is it gets the whole face. So now when I did that, I can go ahead and make kind of like an eyelid on top of the fish. You can see right there. It looks a little funky right now, but I can manipulate that by just kind of turning it a little bit like that. I can take this part of the fish. Now watch this. I'm going to turn symmetry object X on, and so whatever I select, I can go ahead and move this in a little bit. Why is the symmetry not working? Symmetry object X. Am I in the middle of the world? Well, let's do world X. That's strange. My symmetry is not working. Let me delete this history and try this again. Oh, I know what's going on here. Let me freeze the transformations. Now let me try this. Are we in the X space? Oh, we're in Z. Oh, I made a mistake. I made this in the wrong view. Oops! I broke my own rules. Okay, sorry. Normally you do that in the X within the front view. Okay, so we can move that back a little bit like so. We can just grab that center one, move it back like so. So now we're getting kind of that the shape like that. Okay, so you get the idea. Now let me just show you some of the students that have done the similar assignment. If I can find, let's see. That's my dog, by the way. There we go. Okay. So that's one. Let me show you another one. So here's another one somebody did, like, looks like Wally. Now, I used to let them use booleans, and I don't want anybody using booleans, so that you'll notice if you look at some of these. I don't know why it's not going back. Here, we'll go to here. Here's one where somebody actually used the textures and everything. Mr. Buffalo Bill. So they use textures and stuff, and it's actually pretty cool. They even got like a glowy end to that. That was pretty cool. You look at the wireframe, so they made a hat and everything. Did a little modeling. You can see like they cut the hole for the eyes and stuff. Or they actually, it looks like they used two hemispheres. So they just had two halves. So how would you do that? Like you can just basically, in Maya, I guess I could have done it that way too. I wasn't thinking about it that way. Object mode, you could take this and let's turn that off now. I'm going to isolate this object, so I'm going to hit Control 1 so it isolates it. So I can go something like this, like grab a face, hold shift, it's getting closer, hold shift and double click. I'm having problems today, guys. Alright, it messed with my pivot. I accidentally activated the pivot, but because I hit the wrong thing on the keyboard. That's what I was trying to do. So grab one face, hold shift, double click, it gets the edge loop, but then you could just grab this whole thing and delete that. And then with the going along with the mesh menu, fill hole, and now you have half of a sphere. Like so. That'll be acceptable for this one. You can go triangulate if you want when you go to export it to Sketchfab. That's fine. I don't mind you doing it for this assignment. Let's see here. I wonder if it lets you just triangulate one face. Let me see. It certainly does. So you could just grab that one face and triangulate it. That's not really, that doesn't look great, but we'll allow it for these early assignments. Control D, and then I got a duplicate, and now you got like the two sides. So you've got your like eyelids that you can mess with. So you can see like that. Now, if this widget keeps getting in your way, You can use the plus and minus keys to make it bigger and smaller. So if you're trying to like actually work on something where you need the widget, but it keeps getting in the way, you can just get rid of it, like, or make it bigger or smaller, plus and minus. Plus, minus. Okay. All right, so the last part of this is to assign materials. So I'm going to right click and go assign new material, but you can't see it because it's off of my recording screen. So let me see if I can move this. I'm going to hit actually Control Space, and it's going to maximize my screen. Space, that's like, this is called expert mode. And there we go, assign new material. So we'll do that. I'm going to just make it a blend. Now I'm going to hit Control Space again. So I always name my materials. Let's see. So what I want to do is go in your attribute editor. So make sure you're on that attribute editor tab, like so. Go to that blend and name this with M underscore whatever it is, like eyelid. So go like that. Now, if you have another material like this down here, or another piece, and you didn't have it selected, let me go back into here so you can see this. You can right click and drag down to assign to existing material, which is just right below favorite material, which is just off the screen. We'll do it. Let's do this one more time. We'll move that up a little higher. There we go. Assign existing material, and you can see that's already in there. Okay. So we're going to set these up in Sketchfab eventually. They just need to have materials on them so that they can differentiate. Like this one, you would say, let's move that way up here. Object, assign new material, you grab a blend, and then you would go name it. Now, you could also do this, just so you know. You can select faces, like I can select one face here and double click. Select one face here, double click, and you know, see I'm getting these face loops. Oops. I messed up. There we go. So I can actually assign materials separate just to these. So let me show you here how this works. So assign new material and a blend, and so now this other part here will have the original Lambert material that comes by default on everything, and this new one will have that new blend that I put on. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-I to invert my selection. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go assign new material and assign a different material there. So let me go back to here. Right. So now you can see with this object, I have a bunch of different materials on it, is what it looks like. So let me delete the history. When you delete the history, it's going to get rid of all, there's like all these little tabs that would be up here in your attribute editor. It'll get rid of some of them. So let me just do this. Let me go in here and I'll select blue. And we'll hit 6 on our keyboard so we can see our materials. Okay, I don't know what that's assigned to then. It doesn't look like it's assigned to anything. Let's go to red. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, I wasn't really changing the color. Oh no, I did. I'm sorry. Let's see here. That one is blue. Yeah, I did change it. Okay, and then this one will just go green. Okay, so now here's the thing. I set these materials up here. I can see what they're going to do, but when I get it into Sketchfab, you have to set it back up again. It's just the way it works. Sketchfab does not set the materials up for you. Well, it has certain capabilities of it, but sometimes you have to get in there and do it by hand. So for these eyelids, these should both be the same. So if I go in the eyelids, let's see here. Let's just make it that magenta. You can see they're same materials on both things. And you might want one for the head or the body, you can call that, and then you would have one for the fin, and maybe you want the same one for the top fin or whatever. So we're not worried about like texturing right now, but if you want to get into that, like if you've done some modeling before, you could certainly put textures on these and put UVs on them if you like. That's up to you for the extra points that you would get for it. Okay, so we've got all that done. Where do we use the mesh menu again, which I just closed? Silly me. Let's go ahead and grab these two things, and we'll go mesh menu, combine, and then let's go ahead and make, I was supposed to make another sphere inside there, but I didn't. We can actually just go Control D, duplicate the mesh menu, duplicate the eyeball. I'm going to go ahead and scale this. Scale it bigger, like so. And then I'll go to faces, double click on the faces, and then Control Shift I, and then I'll just delete the ones I don't need. Okay, now this here, I'll put a new material on. You can't see it. That's okay. I'm just gonna trust me. I'm putting a new material on. Here we go, blend, and then this one I'll make white, like an eyeball. And then from there, we can go ahead and do something like this. Just make it a little bit bigger. And I could assign a new material to this. Now, I'll bet you I have back faces selected. Let's check. So I do. So I'm going to hold Control and drag a marquee and deselect those back faces. So now I'm going to hit 5 again. I'm going to right click over this and go assign new material. You can't see it. It's off the screen, but you guys know the routine. And I can go like that, make that black. Object mode. So now I've got an eyeball. I've got all this stuff going on. That's basically how you can put this together. Let's take this and combine these, and then we'll, oh no you didn't. Okay, so it got rid of my material selections. I'm not sure why. Let's just do this. Delete history. Delete history. Let's see if this lets me combine those. Yeah, that worked. Okay, so I deleted the history, and then it let me combine those without a problem. So now if I take this mesh and I do a mirror, now that doesn't look right, but we want it to be on not object, but world. So now if we do world X, and we are actually in the Z because I did this wrong. Now we got that. Okay. Make sure you're facing forward when you're doing this. If I go Control G like this, I can group everything and I could just move it like that. Now everything's in the right spot, and then I could just go ahead and take all these and freeze the transformations, delete the history. Just double check it to make sure they're all done. I've had times from why it didn't actually delete the history for me. Okay, so if I've got that all done, I can go ahead and export this out. Let me do this though. Let me just put a material on the fins. This will be, we'll make it yellow. Not that yellow, that yellow. And we'll take this, assign a new material. Now I've been breaking my rule because I haven't been naming these. We'll make this one like a light blue, like that. Okay, this looks really not great. I want you guys to do something great. But I'm doing this for demo purposes. M_body. Come into the fin, grab that blend, M_fin. So M_eyelid. Oh, you know what? It's eye white. We'll call it eye white. And then M_iris. And then we got M_lip green. Just put GR. I'm not sure what this one's going to. Let me find out. Is there something in here I missed? Doesn't look like it. Sometimes Maya can get weird and somehow get some weird assignment. I don't know what that's up with. What's up with that? M_lip_red. And hit Control 1 to get your stuff back. Alright, we need to mirror this. So let's do the mirror again. Mirror. Make sure it's world. And there you go. Now that's there. Let's duplicate this. Control D. Let's make my widget bigger, like so. Now, what I could do with this is go to the vertices like this, these two vertices if I want, and make sure I got the right ones. Yeah, I want the ones that are right in the center. Yep. And I can turn my soft select back on with B. Go something like that. Use my scale tool and just kind of, I could scale this up. Select this over at the end. Could maybe go like that. So something simple like that is cool. I think this would look better if I did a little something like that. And let's go to these vertices. Now I'm going to do the symmetry now. So we'll go Object X, or actually Object Z. Oh no, wait, I did move it. Object X, so it should work. That's right, I reversed everything. Maybe not. Let's see. Freeze. Well, let's try World X. This is what happens when you screw up selecting. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is what happens when you don't set up your direction correctly, and then you get all kinds of problems subsequently. That's why I tell you guys to set up your directions properly. Okay, so you know, we can get a little fancy here if we want to. Give it kind of more of a, see that? All right, so you know, and this is how you can start blocking out objects, you know, even characters and stuff. So you know, using soft select and whatnot is one way to do it. I know we kind of went beyond what I said originally with the mesh menu, but I just wanted to show like a few different things you could do. I'm not really sure why I'm using two colors here. That was more for demonstration, so I could just grab the whole face and just say assign existing material. You'll have to just trust me, it's gonna work. Okay, there we go. And we'll go like that. So now we've got our little fishy fish. So that's pretty cool. You could shape this a little bit better if you want, and shape this a little bit better. But let's do this. Let's combine everything. Let's you know, delete the history. Make sure that we don't have any problems when we combine. So hopefully this is doing everything correctly. And then I'll try combine. Hopefully it works. And looks like all my materials stayed intact. Okay, good. And now I can go ahead and export this. So File, Export Selection. And let's see where we're at. We're in my CGT scenes folder. So I'm going to say, so this is I'm going to change this to FBX. It's a little off screen. I don't know if you'll see it. FBX, and we'll say fish mesh menu. Okay, say export selection. Okay, and now it's pretty much ready for prime time. I just want to go to Sketchfab. I'll go to upload, because I'm already logged in. Browse. Let's see where it takes me to. Gotta go into my Maya files here on my Google Drive. Projects. Scenes. Noises. Let's see. Fish mesh menu FBX. Open. Continue. Hopefully it goes quick. And I'm just going to skip this part for right now just because I want it to go faster. I'll pause for a second. Sometimes this takes a while. Oh, never mind. Didn't have to. Oh, look at that. All the colors came in. Great. But if you want to change the colors, you go into, well, first of all, I'm going to make it free so anyone can download this. I'm going to go to, I'm not save and publish yet, 3D settings. I always suggest, I have a Sketchfab video that you guys should be watching. I don't remember what week it's in now. Hopefully you've already watched it, but if not, the one thing you always want to do is the lighting is usually always blown out in Sketchfab. So if you come into here, obviously you can change which lighting you're using and the brightness. So if it's like super blown out or something, it looks like maybe they fixed that because it doesn't look that bad on this one for some reason. Yeah, sometimes it's like super blown out. And you can change the orientation. That's like which way the background's facing, shadow bias. Maybe that's yeah, that's fine. And then in the materials, so the materials came in correctly for the most part. So simple like colors will come in correctly, but for textures you have to basically, sometimes you have to set it up yourself. If you know, there's ways to zip it together and it's supposed to work. But if it doesn't work, you have to go into the actual material itself and load textures in. That's all in that other video. But so here we can, once you're in materials, you can select like the lips, and then we can like do something interesting by making this, let's do that. So you can see now it's got that nice little highlights on there. You could do the same thing, obviously the fish. Let's change the roughness like that. So now it's got a little highlight on it, and so on and so forth, so make these things look better. Just have fun. It's supposed to be fun. This is not supposed to be like a super, you know, hardcore serious thing. This is just getting you familiar with the tools, so you're familiar with 3D space. Okay, have a good time working on this, and thank you for watching. Bye. And don't forget to have a happy modeling experience. I'm supposed to add that into each video. I forget sometimes. It's not the end yet. I just wanted to make sure I added in this last part in case you didn't find this or you missed it in another video. Just make sure after you're done, you hit save settings. After you're in 3D settings, you hit save settings, exit. So I already did that, and then you want to find this embed right here, and then you just click in here. It's copied to my clipboard, and then let me go into my Weebly. It's full screen right now, so let me just make that smaller. And then here, so I have it already loaded in right here, but you just click in here, edit, and then you would paste it in here. Okay, and that's it. And then you just publish that, and it should get it. All right, there you go. That's the rest of it. Have a good one, and happy modeling.